something different because Magnus is up by 4.
Yeah, it's a 4-game lead. But I will say, since 2.5, 1.5, it almost feels like Alireza had a dip in level. Like he was on fire the first few games, but then he tilted from an opening. He had a couple of games that were all over the place and a couple of games given away. But he's got to conjure up something here.
Magnus just has a way of making you lose your belief in your ability to do anything. He just plays better and better. The bigger the lead grows. Alireza repeats this Italian, which I like, and he goes for your approach. Bishop back to A2, so that in the future you can go C4. And actually you can deploy the bishop through B1 and eventually go D4.
That is very nice. And there it is.
Eventually means right now.
Yes, that's what he heard. By the way, E4 knight D2, is there G4 on the cards?
That is a very instructive idea. G4 to push the knight away. Kind of a French-like concept.
Yeah, and like a Nimso Larsen sometimes when the center closes. Yeah, you can go G4, G5, H4. Yeah, this is a much better approach. Look, we've got Magnus thinking. I say we because we want a close match. That's what we want, all right? All of humanity, whether
the royal we.
Yes, we want a close match, and that's really it.
I'm going to spotlight your idea, Levy, because it's instructive for the folks watching, hoping to learn idea, taking notes. Of course, everybody has their notebooks out. E4, knight D2, let's bring up an analysis board because Magnus is giving us the chance to do so. And then G2, G4. And the funny thing about this move is that it not just chases the knight away from the E4 pawn, it just chases the knight to what square exactly? No square. The knight can get trapped here in the center of the board if you're not careful. And even if you are, this attack comes really fast. This is what's giving Magnus pause. E4 is what he was relying on. He finally plays it. Levy, the chances that we see G4 are over 50%. They might be closer to 100.
Wow, B5 is wild. Yeah, he's trying to not allow Alireza an expansion on that side of the board and try to play knight B6, but G4 isn't coming.
I believe the symmetry we might potentially see on both sides, but G4, knight B6.
Okay, queen E2, fine. Defend your pawn first. Now long castles is incoming.
And then we'll definitely see G4.
Yeah, at this point, if you castle short with white, you're not playing G4.
It's a G4 gone conclusion that we'll see that move. Maybe F3, though.
Yeah, F3, then then Rook E8 after the trade. It's super complicated.
Yeah, I mean, F3 doesn't exclude G4. I mean, G4 is just a good attacking move, even if the E4 pawn doesn't exist anymore.
But what do we do? Maybe A4. Wow, bishop.
No, wait, knight takes D5, bishop takes D5, hits the rook. But how does it help with knight B6? If you take on F6, you give up one of your biggest assets, right? The bishop pair. You help Black get his pieces to active squares. Feels like Alireza has lost a lot of the mojo that has helped him make good decisions in these critical moments.
Yeah, I like bishop F6, knight E4, and long castle, though. I mean, that looks quite natural to me. But maybe Black will just play Rook E8, and you'll suffer in the position.
And you're right. Bishop F6, C3. Black will play Rook E8 anyway. And there's a tactic that I think Alireza might have underestimated. And we might see it on the board. C3, Rook E8. Knight takes C4. There might be bishop takes D4, clearing the path for the F-pawn. That's where G4 would have come in so handy to stop F7, F5.
Yes.
Of course, that was the initial idea.
Yes, that was obviously the idea of G4, but it was not to attack. It was to stop Black from playing F5. Yeah, here you play Rook E8, and you have tactical defenses of the pawn.
It's not even the only move. You could just give up the E4 pawn and play against White's really passive bishop, Magnus. He does play Rook E8. Long castles here for White might be the best bet. Maybe short castles, but...
Maybe now you change plans and play H4, Rook H3, and okay, but did he just miss bishop takes D4?
And maybe that's not even the best move. Bishop H4 might win a piece.
Oh, that's disgusting.
You don't even have to sack this bishop. You just move it, and White cannot stop the twin threats of F5 and Queen E7.
Why bishop H4?
Because you pin the F-pawn. Can I show this? He plays bishop D4.
Plays bishop D4. Now you can castle long, maybe.
Or taking castle long.
Yeah.
If we pull up an analysis board, bishop H4 threatens F5, so you basically have to go here.
Yes.
Now I think the idea is maybe we should just eliminate the eval bar. Queen E7 is possible. Apparently the best move is C6.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, for sure. And then D5.
I guess the idea is White can't go F3 to get 3 pawns for the piece because it's pinned.
Yes.
Should Magnus be disqualified despite leading this for missing bishop H4?
Yeah, it's crazy he didn't see bishop H4, but... He's still fighting. Okay, the c-file is a problem, though, now. The knight on b6 is not that useful.
And now this pawn has turned from a weakness into a strength, and the bishop is an extension of the pawn. Or the other way around.
Yes, I don't know if the bishop wants that, but
Yeah.
after queen c6, if that's your idea here with white, you can take with the rook or the pawn.
Look at those squares. One for the rook, one for the
But
queen.
rook e6 and white e6 and white is much better. This is Magnus wins this against every opponent in the world with white, but how about with black?
And Alireza smelling blood. H4 is fantastic awareness and instincts. Magnus facing...
King walk, king h2, king g3, king f4 in the future. Yeah, just not right now. Let's slow down.
All right, Nigel.
Slow down. Okay, but now we have a passed pawn.
And another pawn appearing on d5. Doubled pawns are like two-headed monsters, right? One replaces another.
But do you play d5 right away? Okay, he doesn't play d5. Can Magnus play d5?
And he will.
Oh man, but this is Alireza not in great form at the moment because
d5 is automatic. It just is for white and for black.
To connect the pawns like that would have been priceless.
No. Queen takes c6 is even possible here, and white's not even better anymore.
Yeah, and king h6. Wow, queen d6 is I would never even have considered that in a million years.
Guess what? If the queens are traded, the pawn on e6, sliced off from the rest of humanity, well...
Black is playing for a win.
King on g7, I guess, isn't human.
Queen e3, and I guess and king f6 is going to happen. That's crazy.
Unbelievable how quickly this turned around, all because a black pawn is on d5 rather than a white pawn.
But I think there's queen e3, king f6, queen h6, and you can probably create sufficient counterplay.
Well spotted. It's on the board. All of it is on the board, Levy.
Yeah, so we're looking at some form of a draw, but check and take the pawn.
Check on e1 is going to be nasty, but white should have perpetual even if he drops the f pawn, as you're saying.
You could lose the bishop on a2, man. The queen's going to get there.
It's a big pawn anyway.
You do have a perpetual. I think black's king is a bit too weak. King f1.
I love this move. Using the king proactively to stop queen e1 check. Both sides have to be careful here.
Absolutely. All right, under 10 seconds, right where we want him. Both kings exposed.
Here we go. Queen takes c7 was possible. There's a mate possibility on d1 potentially.
5 seconds from now. You got to probably take that knight, right? That's what we do here. But queen b1, queen b2, check.
Magnus is going to escape and zigzag his way out of these checks. There is no perpetual here. That king...
And he's losing.
Queen b1.
Queen b1, queen b1. But also the queen endgame, Danya's losing.
And Magnus, he just tries to create a passed pawn on the queen side. Alireza is losing control of this game.
Yes, b4 is incoming.
b4, black's pawn is faster.
And the king is going to run too. King b5 ideas.
But c3, there might be d5 check. So Magnus starts with a check.
That was the wrong move, but
Another check.
But that was the wrong move.
Another check, and now he makes the passer.
But they're all making bad moves apparently, and now he hung the pawn on d4.
And the king is going to zigzag its way out of the checks again.
Oh my!
Black's pawn might be one step faster. c2.
2 seconds. Yeah, he's queening. He's
c1, and he's going to skewer white's queen.
Oh my goodness! We have a check though. Oh, we got 4 queens on the board. What is going on?
And he's got a zig and zag, and queen g5. Queen takes g5,
and
you skewer the other queen.
Yeah.